wait. There you go. Hello. Well, it's my honor and privilege to close this gathering with a few songs. And a big thank you to the Army of Lovers that put this together. It takes quite a lot of work. Thank you very much. It's been a treat to watch all the different ways in which humans express our love and passion for the earth. And I'm going to sing a few songs about the theme Heart Matters, since that is our theme. I guess it makes me think, as I often do, that love is an underutilized and underrated political force. In my experience, it really is that is what mobilizes us and motivates us to work on behalf of protecting what we love, whether it's a river or a child or an art form or our gorgeous planet as a whole. So I think anything we can do like this to help us and other people reconnect with that passionate love for the world is incredibly important these days, since we have lots to do. And this song came out of my lifelong, passionate, shameless, and lusty love affair for our world. It's called If the World Were My Lover. If the world were my lover, I would ask her to dance under skies filled with thunder and with lightning and flame. If the world were my lover, I would wrap her in leaves and build her a shelter at the close of the day. If the world were my lover, I would lay down beside her and caress her with laughter and with roses and rain. If the world were my lover, I would never forsake her. I would always remember her name. If the world were my lover and I told her a lie, I would search through the danger for the source of the pain. If the world were my lover and I lashed out in fear, I would fight like a warrior to redeem her again. If the world were my lover, even deep in my anger, I would always forgive her, never leave her to blame. If the world were my lover, I would never forsake her. I would always remember her name. And I would do the same for you, the same for you are all my world. And I will do whatever I must do, whatever to be true, to a lover of such beauty. If the world were my lover, I would venture my life to try and protect her against hunger and pain. If the world were my lover, I would walk by her side, every step a reminder that her heart knows the way. If the world were my lover, I would hold her so tender as she wept at the horrors that I cannot explain. If the world were my lover, I would never forsake her. I would always remember her name. And I would do the same for you, the same for you are all my world. And I will do whatever I must do, whatever to be true, to a lover of such beauty. Sing for me, sing, for we always will be deep in the heart of mysterious love. If the world were my lover, I would fight to be true to the passion inside her, to the source of the flame. If the world were my lover, I would know in my soul that her heart is a fire only wildness can tame. If the world were my lover, I would see myself shining, knowing deep down within her we are one and the same. If the world were my lover, I would never forsake her. I would always remember her name. you. Thanks very much. Well, I think one of the things that makes it so hard for folks, particularly in the U.S., to like stay in real touch with what we want, really, in our heart of hearts, is that we're being targeted pretty much 24/7 by billions of dollars of advertising, telling us that we want and need whole bunches of stuff that we don't really at least need, and that certainly the planet needs us to stop consuming so much of. So I think one of the most confusing parts about that for many of us is that it keeps telling us, particularly here, I think in the US, that we can get the life of our dreams for ourselves and by ourselves. And I have now listened to enough people around the world to realize that one of the things we most want, I guess, is each other. And that most of the stuff that all of us want, we cannot get by ourselves. We have to get it collectively, right? Coming together and fighting for it. And Dick Gregory used to say, collective action is not all of us taking our Prozac at the same time. So this song was written a long time ago as a way of reminding myself and anyone else who would be willing to listen to me to keep asking ourselves that question, because it takes some effort to get at for most of us. What is it we really want? And we have to keep asking it and asking it and asking it. So this song is called Coincidentally. Is that what you really want? Is that what you really want? Or did nobody ask you? Is that what you really think? Or did nobody care? Is that who you really are? Or did nobody notice? Is that what you really want? Or did nobody dare? Are these your most precious dreams? Or did you leave them behind you when you were a young one, just to get through? Is it money you really need, or someone to come find you? Hold on, darling, I am coming for you. You need another beer, or should I just hold you? Do you need another child, or a dream for the world? Is it sex that you really want, or are you searching for God herself? Have you painted a picture of you as a boy, as a girl? Remember the playground dreams that kept us in rapture? The boy who would dance his life, the girl who could fly, the longing to touch and be touched, the burning for life, the passion to have it all deep down inside. Is that what you really want? Or has nobody asked you? Is that who you really are? Just to run with the crowd? Is that what you really love? Or has nobody asked you? Well, if nobody's asked you, I am asking you now. Remember those playground dreams that kept us enraptured? The boy who would dance his life, the girl who could fly, the longing to touch and be touched, the burning for life, the passion to have it all deep down inside. Is that what you really want? Or has nobody asked you? Is that who you really are? Just to run with the crowd? Is that what you really love? Or has nobody asked you? Well, if nobody's asked you, I am asking you now. Is that what you really want? I am asking you now. For once we can see the dream, we will get there somehow. that's one of those things I really wish we would teach more in our history classes in the US, which is that just about anything we really want for everybody that really matters has come through collective struggle. A lot of people have put in a lot of their life energy and taken huge risks and sometimes lost their lives, actually, on behalf of things like the ending of slavery or the 8-hour work week or ending child labor or civil rights, the women's right to vote, and so on. And surely we need to put in that level of care for our beloved planet. And this song was written as a tribute to our elders who are often putting in their life energy to something that they don't think they will see the fruits of their labor in their lifetimes. And it was inspired by a series of letters back and forth between Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony. At the ends of their lifetime, they'd put in each 50 years simply to try to get the right to vote for women. And they knew that they weren't going to see it in their lifetimes, and they were bummed. But they wrote these letters back and forth, basically saying, but we have a new generation that's coming up that we have helped to shape. And one of them said to the other, failure is impossible. And the other said, this is winter wheat we're sowing that other hands will harvest. And so the song is called Winter Wheat. When I was young, I thought failure was impossible. All wrongs would be righted in my time. Now I am old, I see failure is impossible. I pass the torch to you. Will you hold it high? For we are sowing winter wheat that other hands will harvest, that they might have enough to eat. After we are gone, we will plant shade trees. We will not sit under, we will light candles, that others can see their way. We'll struggle for justice, though we'll never see it flower. Our children's children will live in peace one day. When I was young, I thought there are no human enemies. People must be taught to hate and fear. Now I am old, I know there are no human enemies, but only souls in pain. And we can reach them if we dare. So we are sowing winter wheat that other hands will harvest, that they might have enough to eat. After we are gone, each generation passes like the leaves on an old oak tree whose roots are strong. Each new generation bursts out like the spring. They will be the ones to carry on. When I was young, I dreamed the earth was healed and whole again, creatures, trees, and rivers free and wild. Now I am old, I dream the planet healed and whole again. That dream's reborn forever in the heart of each new child. So we are sowing winter wheat that other hands will harvest, that they might have enough to eat. After we are gone, we will plant shade trees. We will not sit under, we will light candles, that others can see their way. We'll struggle for justice, though we'll never see it flower. Our children's children will live in peace one day. We will plant shade trees, that we will not sit under, we will light candles, that others will see their way. We'll struggle for justice, though we'll never see it flower. Our children's children will live in peace one day. peace one day. All the children will live in peace one day. Okay, well, I'll close with a song I hope some of you know. It's had a little global life of its own. Comes back to check in every once in a while. It's called How Could Anyone? It's a very simple song, and we'll sing it a bunch and you can get it. And what I think of with this song lately is the words of the Tibetan nun Pema Chodron, who I'm sure some of you know. She says something to the effect of, we human beings are not born into original sin, we're born with original soft spot. And most of the crazy and often destructive things that we do to one another and to our beloved planet come from our very misguided efforts to protect original soft spot. So I will return back, I guess, to where I started, which is the idea of love, of self, of other, of all, as a political force. That it's very important, I think, that we get the message out that we're worthy of being loved, I guess. So please sing along if you want to. The words are very simple there. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. And we will sing it again and again until we stop. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. That's the whole song. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Sing harmonies. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. One more time. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.